this video, I'm going to be drawing Wolverine. He was one of my favorite characters growing up. I loved the X-Men, and the reason I loved the X-Men was because of Wolverine. So for this drawing, I really wanted to capture the animalistic side of Wolverine. I wanted to really kind of portray him as an injured animal that's just completely going berserk. So for the pose on this one, I actually had my wife take a couple pictures with my cell phone just to try a few different things. And so that's kind of where I referenced the pose from, is took some photos with my cell phone. And then for the expression on the face, I also took some photos of my own face just to kind of see what the muscles will do in a really exaggerated, like, angry face, which if I showed you guys those photos of me doing this, you'd probably think I was a psycho. But anyway, that's where I got kind of the way the face looks for this, and I feel like it turned out really cool. I feel like sometimes when I just try and draw from my head, I make mistakes, and they're based on bad habits that I have from drawing things a certain way. So that's why I always emphasize, make sure you reference stuff every now and again so that you don't make the same mistakes I made where, you know, I learned to draw something wrong and now I draw it wrong every time, and I need to reference to make sure that I don't fall into those bad habits again. So for this, the pencil drawing part of this, I'm using 6H lead, which I like because it's really light, so the pencil marks don't show up that great. I had to really up the contrast on the video though because it is so light. But the only problem with the 6H lead is that it's so hard that it kind of scores the paper a little bit, so I actually might go away from that in the future. So I've been using pen and ink a lot lately. In fact, my next sketchbook video has a bunch of pen and ink drawings in it. So I actually did Cable from X-Force after I did Wolverine. But one thing I'm kind of messing around with is right here, all these thin lines that you're seeing, that's all brown ink. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but I like kind of like that quality of the contrast between the brown and the thin and thick lines that I'm getting with these drawings. In a minute, you'll see me switch to the black Faber-Castell brush pen, and I'll do all my thicker outlines with that pen. And I really like kind of that, I mean, when you mix in the thin and thick lines, it just gives that drawing a variety of line length, widths that's really nice. I actually have a really nice brush pen that I didn't use for this, and maybe a few drawings later I will, but that really helps you vary the width of the line as you draw, as where with this drawing, all the lines are either thick or thin. They don't gradually kind of change a whole lot. So now that I have my black outline done, I'm going to go in with my markers and kind of do real basic shading with this. I wanted this to kind of be a little bit flatter, simpler design style for the markers rather than get real intense with making sure my lighting is all perfect and accurate. But there's an artist, his name is Rotley, I believe. I follow him on Twitter, and I really like his style. He does a comic called Invincible. It's really like a brutal comic, but I look at all his drawings and stuff, and I really like that simplified ink and marker kind of look that he has with his artwork. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. So now you can see the drawing is pretty much taking shape. It looks like, so the idea was this, either a grenade blast or rocket blast, somebody just wiped out his whole left side and his ribs are kind of sticking out, so you can kind of see his metal ribs poking through his skin. You know, half his mask got blown off or whatever, so maybe his face was all messed up just a few minutes ago, but with his healing factor, you know, he's healing. He just hasn't healed all the way through. So kind of the idea was that maybe the damage just happened, some of it's maybe a little bit healed, but he's still like recovering. But I really like the way this one turned out. The pose is pretty dynamic. His expression on his face is, I mean, he looks like an animal ready to just rip somebody apart. So I feel like I accomplished my goal on this one, and I did Wolverine justice as far as his animal side showing through in the drawing. So that's the video, you guys. Hope you liked it. I know I'm kind of all over the place sometimes with my styles, but that's just me as an artist. I tend to bounce around all over the place. If you followed me long enough on this YouTube channel, you see that I try all kinds of different things. So, yeah. So this style is definitely a contrast from my last few drawings, which are more fine art, kind of weird, surreal drawings. And if you want to check those out, you can go to my website, bsketchy.com. I have a few prints available for sale if you're interested. But anyway, it was a fun drawing to do, and thanks for watching, guys.